Double game week 37. Here is my team selection, how I'm going to be lining up, and the bench boost is active. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game. Where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top. Guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, we'll be going through my team selection ahead of double game week 37. But before we do, I just want to ask everyone, if you can, just please hit that subscribe button. It's coming towards the end of the season now. I'm hoping to hit 1,500 subscribers before the end of the season, and I can't do that if you don't subscribe. So it's completely free and it really does help me out, so I would appreciate it. First of all, let's get on to my game week 36 team. Really good game week for me. 107 points. Got a bit lucky. Definitely got a bit lucky. But I'm now in the top 200k in the league overall rank. So yeah, really happy with that. Hopefully I can push on and maybe get a top 150k, top 100k finish. But overall, I'm really happy with that. And it won't be a good season for me, but yeah, it's not going to be a bad season. For game week 36, so in goal I had Edison, which was, I guess, a mistake. Petrovic on the bench got 6 points, but I was always going to be starting a Man City goalkeeper at home. And to be honest, West Ham should have scored against Chelsea in that game. So Petrovic probably a bit lucky to get the clean sheet in the end, but 4 points difference is not the end of the world. Defence, what could have been, to be honest. Burn had a clean sheet and obviously did concede in the end to Burnley. He probably should have kept a clean sheet. Burnley didn't really have much to even look like scoring, to be honest, in that game. But yeah, 2 points for him. Branthwaite with a clean sheet, 5 points against Luton away. He actually lost his clean sheet though, but he got an assist, which is really good with that one. Also, Gabriel, 7 points, so he got a clean sheet and a bonus. So yeah, really happy with him in that one. And then, to be honest, Branthwaite I am very happy with, because I couldn't afford the double Arsenal defence on my wildcard, so I couldn't afford Ben White and Gabriel, so I had to go for Branthwaite instead. And so far he's matched Ben White basically near enough every time I've needed him. So for me, really happy with him. Midfield, they all delivered, maybe not as well as some of the others, but they all did deliver. Gordon with an assist, 6 points. Palmer as well ended up with a goal against West Ham, which is probably a little bit disappointed considering they scored 5 goals. But yeah, I can't really complain with 8 points from Palmer. Foden, an assist. Again, they scored 5 goals. Getting only an assist is disappointing. But again, any return, I can't actually complain. And then Son getting another goal. To be honest, his form is, in terms of real life form, has been terrible. Not terrible, but not as good recently, but he's still been pitching in with the goals. So happy that he got on the score sheet with that one. Ended up getting 7 points. And then the forwards is where it happened, really. Haaland, captain, 4 goals, ended up on 21 points, and double it is obviously 42 for the captain. Yeah, over the moon with that. To be honest, I was not even thinking about going anywhere else but Haaland this game week. Wolves at home. Wolves, I think, are pretty much done for the season. They've got a lot of injuries as well, and Man City at home and Haaland at home are very good, both of them. So yeah, for me it was a bit of a no-brainer going Haaland captain. Isak with another goal and an assist. Missed the penalty though, so obviously he did get minus for that, and it probably means that he might not be on penalties for the future. But if Wilson is injured, and there are rumours that he is injured, then potentially Isak might keep the penalties, or it could go to Gordon. Either way, I'm happy. And then the bit of luck. So I did start Bruno Fernandes this game week, and obviously he was injured, but his game wasn't until Monday night. So I went through the whole weekend thinking I've left Jackson's points on the bench, 16 points, 2 goals and assist against West Ham. Pretty gutted. But Bruno Fernandes didn't play, so Jackson off the bench with 16 points. And yeah, taking me over the 100 mark with 107 points, top 200k. Really happy, and hopefully I can push on a bit further in double game week 37. Let's get on to the team selection. So like I said at the start of the video, I am going to be playing my bench boost in game week 37. I do have 2 free transfers, but for me, I might not use them both, but again, we'll get onto that at the next part of the video, or the next part of the section. First of all, I just want to get through my team selection of how it looks currently, and I'm going to break it down. So I've got all the players on the pitch because they're all going to count. I know a lot of people maybe put some of their best players on the bench, but for me, I will tell you who I'm putting on the bench. But for now, I'm just going to put all the players out there. So we start with Edison, Fulham away, Spurs away. To be honest, not the best double game week. I think they're both tough away games, even though Fulham might be, I guess, on the beach, if you want to call it that. And obviously Spurs' form, they lost the last 4 games, is not the best. But and City haven't scored a goal or got any sort of positive result there in the Premier League. So they did obviously win 1-0 in the FA Cup though at Spurs. So yeah, who knows, that voodoo could be gone. But overall, yeah, I am happy to have Edison for this double game weekend. City are kind of expected to keep at least 1 clean sheet in these 2 games, and I feel like City, when it comes to crunch time in the Premier League, they start to win 1-0, keep clean sheets, be a bit more solid. I know they just won 5 and scoring lots of goals, and that's fine, but I think they're going to start to look a bit more solid, and they've actually kept 2 clean sheets in the last 3 game weeks, so you can definitely see that. It's a shame, to be honest, I've got Edison, because I probably would have rather have Gavardio in my defence rather than Edison in goal. But it's just one of them things. At least I know Edison's going to start, and I don't need to stress about that. The other goalkeeper, I've got Petrovic for Chelsea. So a player that has been doing pretty well recently, to be honest. 2 clean sheets in his last 2 games. So far this season, he, I guess, has done okay. There is a bit of a risk with Sanchez maybe coming back from injury, but I think he'll play both games. And to be honest, I do think it's a good double game week for Chelsea, and especially with their form looking much better recently. They've won their last 2 games, and yeah, they've scored 7 goals in their last 2 games, which obviously doesn't matter to Petrovic, but like I said, they've kept clean sheets in both them last 2 games. So Forest away, who are fighting for their lives. To be honest, I think Forest will be all right. To be totally honest with you, but they're going to want to get a result, maybe nick a draw in this game, and it could be a tight game where Petrovic does actually keep a clean sheet. And then Brighton away, normally you'd say it's a tough place to go, but I think with the way Brighton are this season, and to be honest, they actually struggle to be that attacking and score that many goals. So I'm really happy with Petrovic, and I'm happy that he's only 7% owned as well. So massive differential. And Edison is 14.3% owned. So both really kind of differential goalkeepers. Overall, hopefully a clean sheet for both of them in over the 2 games, and then a few save points. Maybe a 10-pointer for both of them will be great. But overall, happy with these goalkeepers. I would rather maybe another goalkeeper instead of Edison, just so I can have Gavardio or Walker as a little bit more attacking, especially with the amount of injuries and stuff with defensive options recently. But overall, yeah, I can't really complain with these goalkeepers. But we'll get onto the defence now because I've already mentioned them. So I know the defence is actually a bit of a struggle for a lot of people at the minute, but I'll start off. I think I've actually, to be honest, come out not too bad. I know a lot of people that have had Shaw, Maguire, maybe someone like Van Heck, who have obviously injured and probably going to miss most, well, if not the rest of the season. But for me, I've only got Maguire, which I'm pretty happy with. I know, I guess, you shouldn't be happy with any injury for, I guess, your player that's in your team. But to be honest, I think it gives me an excuse to get rid of the Man United defender. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet anymore, especially with the way they're playing at the minute. And for me, I think it is a blessing in disguise to have Maguire that is injured. 2 home games obviously could do something, but Newcastle can see them scoring, and I can see Arsenal scoring as well. So for me, I think it is a blessing in disguise, Maguire being injured for the rest of the season, and me having to take him out if I do want to play the bench boost. But we'll get into the transfers a bit later. Gabriel is also in there. To be honest, it's a bit boring having Gabriel on this bench boost, but I think it's necessary to have at least one Arsenal defender, considering how good they are defensively. And you know, Gabriel can pop up with a goal, pop up with an assist, 3 goals, 1 assist this season. Probably should have had more goals, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, overall, I guess he's not a bad player to have on a bench boost, and he would probably be one of the players that I would be benching. And to be honest, it would be Petrovic and Gabriel so far that I actually would be benching. Another player I'd probably be benching is Branthwaite, Sheffield United at home. Still one of the highest players in terms of expected clean sheets this game week, even though he's only got one game. Everton are very, very good defensively. Sheffield United are not very good in terms of attacking. Obviously, they've been relegated already. And with Branthwaite, again, 3 goals, 1 assist this season, so he can do damage as well. I'm just a bit worried maybe Everton are probably safe now and maybe they're going to relax a bit, but I just can't see Sean Dyche letting them relax, to be totally honest with you. And for me, they've always got these charges over their head. Potentially, I don't know, they might get another points deduction. I can't see it, but who knows? But for me, yeah, I think Branthwaite, Sheffield United at home is a very nice player to have on a bench boost. Also, the rest of the defence are double game week players. We'll start off with Dan Burn. So the Newcastle defender, I got, I guess, pretty lucky with going for him instead of Shah. I basically couldn't afford Shah, so overall, it's been a blessing in disguise having someone that I had to have because I couldn't afford his teammate. He hasn't really delivered for me so far though, so he hasn't delivered. But for me, I think the double game week, Brighton at home, Man United away, is not the best, don't get me wrong. But I think in terms of form at the minute, I really don't like the look of Brighton or Man United. I know Brighton did win last time out, and maybe they're starting to get a bit of form back, but at the minute, I don't think they're that good going forward, and the same with Man United. So for that reason, I'm happy with Burn with the double game week. It is disappointing that he hasn't kept a clean sheet against Sheffield United at home, Burnley away. But for me, he is someone that can get attacking returns too. He's not just, a player that doesn't go up for corners or doesn't even get forward. When he's on the left, he sometimes gets forward as well. When he plays left back or when he plays centre back, he goes up for corners. 2 goals, 2 assists this season. There are some people saying that maybe he's a minutes risk if Trippier comes back. But for me, I think he'll play centre back. I know he can play left back as well, which is obviously not where Trippier plays, but Livramento could go left back while Trippier goes right back. And then it just means Burn will be playing centre back. And to be honest, I think Newcastle's defensive options at the minute mean that he has to play centre back. So ideally, play left back, maybe get forward. But for me, yeah, his fixtures are good enough for clean sheets that I wouldn't worry too much. Next up, Pedro Porro. To be honest, he was one of the players that maybe I wasn't sure about because of Spurs' kind of clean sheet potential. I think they concede goals for fun. And he hasn't really been delivering with the attacking returns recently. He's got 1 goal, 8 assists this season. But recently, he hasn't really done much. He's got a goal in game week 32. But before that, his last attacking return was game week 21 against Man United. So, yeah. Pedro Porro, to be honest, is actually really exciting me this game week. He's only about 20% owned as well. And the Burnley at home fixture is the main one on my head. I think that's going to be a great fixture for Spurs. I think Burnley have to win, which I think can only kind of benefit Spurs. I don't think they can afford to maybe sit back. I think if they go at Spurs, I think it might actually help Spurs and kind of get up for the game or get into the game. So I am really, really confident of a Pedro Porro, either attacking return or a clean sheet in this game against Burnley. And also they've got Man City at home, which is just a bonus. I can't see a clean sheet in that one, but who knows? Man City, like I said, do concede goals, and Pedro Porro could be on the end of one of them. And then they've also go to Sheffield United, who are obviously relegated last game of the season, which is a bonus in this. Overall, not happy with the defence at all. I think it's tough to pick 5 defenders that are either doubling or have a good fixture, which is why I've got 2 single game week defenders on my bench boost. With Maguire, and we'll go into it a bit later on, but my thinking behind that is, do I go for maybe a player with a single game week that has a good fixture and a good fixture in 38? Or do I go for a double game week player that I guess is not good from a good defensive team and doesn't really have attacking threat? Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a tough one, but we'll get more into transfers at the end of the video. But let's move on to the midfield. So now onto the midfield, which was a little bit, I guess, more straightforward than the defence. A lot of people have the same midfield, but obviously we have got an injury to Bruno Fernandes. He did miss game week 36. I'm not too sure. I haven't heard the press conferences yet whether he's going to be back for that. He doesn't really miss games, so it kind of makes me think that if he did miss game at 36 completely, that he actually is injured, or maybe even something else is going on. Like I said, he's got 2 home games, albeit against Arsenal and Man United, Arsenal and Newcastle United. Normally, I'd be fine with that, especially he's on pens. He's probably the only player at the minute, maybe Garnacho, who can actually do anything for Man United or do anything good in terms of attacking threat. And he was in good form as well. But this injury has put me off, to be totally honest with you. I don't want to go into it, one, with a half-injured Bruno Fernandes that might only play 1 game or no games. 2, a player that is playing in the Man United team that have just been beat 4-0 by Crystal Palace, just drew to Burnley, drew to Bournemouth in recent times. So, which is fine because Bruno Fernandes was still delivering, but Newcastle and Arsenal are much better opposition than I've just mentioned. And for me, I don't know if I want to take that risk on a double game week player. I think there's so many other options out there in terms of midfield that can actually do the damage in this game week and potentially have a good fixture in game week 38. So I'm not sure I'm going to take that risk unless Erik ten Hag comes out and says Bruno is fully fit, he's firing, he's been training since Monday, Tuesday. Then maybe I'd keep him. But if I don't hear that, he's probably coming out my team too. We'll discuss options at the later part of the video. Next up, Phil Foden. Yeah, he's just probably, you could argue, dipped in form recently, but I wouldn't say that. 2 goals, 1 assist in his last 5 game weeks, but he hasn't started. He's only started 2 of them, so it's not really his fault. So really, 2 goals, 1 assist in 2 starts, and he came off around the 70th, 80th minute in both of them. So yeah, for me, I'm happy with Foden. I can't see him being rested in any of these games. Only 3 games left. Good games, and I feel like Foden normally does better away from home. I feel like that this season. I feel Haaland is obviously better at home, and Foden does the business away from home. For example, Brighton away recently, he scored 2 goals. Also, Bournemouth away, he got a goal. Brentford away, he got 3 goals. Newcastle away, he got a goal. Everton away, he got a goal. Man United away, he got a goal. Sheffield United away assist, etc. So he's been doing very well away from home. And like I said, Fulham and Spurs both away, I think is a good fixture in terms of attacking players for City. And I think Foden can do the business in these games. And he's been on fire this season. I say this every video, but I just have to keep saying it. 16 goals, 8 assists, which is, ridiculous. 24 returns in 30 games. And to be honest, I can see a big haul from him this game week, especially playing against that, I guess, Fulham team that might be not as up for the game as some other teams. I've seen videos of them flying kites in training, so it doesn't look like a team that, I guess, wants to go into the game and beat Man City. Also, Spurs, I'm sure the players are not thinking like this, but I think the atmosphere in that stadium against Man City it's going to be a weird one because I think a lot of Spurs fans are going to want Man City to win that game so Arsenal don't win the league. So to be honest, hopefully, as a Spurs fan, it is going to be a big win for Man City against Spurs. But who knows? The players probably don't think the same way as the fans. Next up, Heung-min Son. So really focusing on both games for Son, to be honest. I know maybe with Porro, I spoke about the Burnley game at home, a really good fixture, which is a very good fixture. And Son does very well against Burnley. He scored that magic goal a few years ago against them where he ran length of the pitch. And I think it won the Puskas Award as well. So, really, really good fixture for Son there. And then Man City at home as well. Son does very well against Manchester City. Countless goals against them in the past. And for me, on penalties, 17 goals, 9 assists this season. Yes, has been a bit quiet recently. And to be honest, I personally think he'll be playing off the left in definitely, I'd say both games, to be honest. I think Richarlison has to start now. I think he's been back from injury. He's come off the bench a few times, started a game or so, done well against Thing as well. So I think Richarlison will start number 9 and Son will play out on the left, which probably doesn't make him a good option, but he's still a good option, if that makes sense. He's not as good as if he was playing through the middle, but he's still a very good option, and obviously on pens as well. Next up, Cole Palmer. Again, really good double game week for him. I think Brighton and Forest are a very nice fixture. It's away from home, and to be honest, this season when Chelsea have maybe got a couple wins under their belt, they normally kind of not let everyone down, but they normally, I guess, show their true colours and maybe lose a game that they expected to win. For example, they beat Manchester United 4-3 at Stamford Bridge, then they drew to Sheffield United away from home the week after. So stuff like that. They beat Newcastle at home 3-2. They drew against Burnley at home 2-2 the week after. So for me, yeah, I'm not confident of Chelsea doing well, but I think Cole Palmer, I think there's going to be goals no matter what. He's on pens, he's on fire. 21 goals, 11 assists this season, which is ridiculous considering he's only started 26 games. Yeah, ridiculous, and he is a potential captaincy option if you did want to go someone different. Next up, got Anthony Gordon. Been a lot of talk about him recently, about his away form, but he did manage to deliver an assist away at Burnley, which is, again, like I said, disappointing considering they scored 4 goals. But I think this away thing's overhyped a little bit. But he's got a home game in a double, Brighton at home, which Brighton do ship goals. And I think that's a very good fixture for Newcastle, especially the way they're playing at the moment. 4 against Burnley, 5 against Newcastle, 4 against Spurs recently, 4 against West Ham. So they've been scoring some big goals. And to be honest, I can see that them scoring another 3 against Brighton and probably another 3 against Man United away as well. So the away game is against Man United, which I think is a good game for Newcastle. So Anthony Gordon, if you're ever going to score away, it's going to be at Old Trafford this season. But overall, really happy with the midfield. It's just Fernandes. Again, probably another blessing in disguise considering Man United's form at the minute. But I'd still keep Fernandes no matter how bad Man United are, because I know he can deliver. He's on pens. He's very, very creative. He even got bonus points in that Burnley game a few game weeks ago where he didn't even get an attack in return. So it just goes to show what good form he is in. But if there's any sort of doubt that maybe he's only started training on Thursday or Wednesday, then for me, he's getting out of the team. But again, we'll discuss transfers a bit later on. Let's go on to the forwards. Now on to the forwards. We'll start off with last week's, I guess, hero, Nicholas Jackson, who came off the bench for me and obviously got that 16-pointer. Like I said, Chelsea, good fixtures, I think. 2 away games, though, which is obviously a bit annoying. But, yeah, 2 very good away games, I think. Forest away, who, again, are fighting for their lives. Probably only need a draw, Forest, I'd say, just to be comfortable. But they're going to want to go out and get 3 points in this game, which, again, could suit Chelsea. And then Brighton away, I think I've been shipping a load of goals. Maybe not recently, but especially over the last 10 games, I'd say they've been conceding a lot of goals. And Jackson is on fire at the minute. 2 goals, 1 assist against West Ham, goal against Spurs, goal and 2 assists against Everton in game week 33. And to be honest, he should have got more. He's missed so many sitters in them games. 13 goals, 6 assists for him this season in 28 starts. I think he's a perfect player to have for this double game week. And he's still so, to be honest, I think he's still so under-owned. He's 14.8% owned, which for me, I think should be more. He's only 7 million. Chelsea have had a couple double game weeks now. Will have in game week 35 and 37. He's probably guaranteed to start. He's playing well, even if he is missing chances. He's still playing well, getting into them boxes, scoring goals. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer with him, and yeah, happy with having him in the team. Isak is a player that I think is owned a lot, 41% owned by a lot of people. But again, he's just delivering. And to be honest, I can't believe he scored 20 goals this season. I feel like he's been injured for most of the season. He's only started 24 games, which is, I guess, I guess, making my my feeling right is I feel like he has been injured a lot of the season, but like I said, he started 24 games, 20 goals in that, 2 assists. He's on fire at the minute. Goal and assist against Burnley, 2 goals against Sheffield United, 2 goals against Spurs in 33. Yeah, just constantly scoring, assisting. Yeah, for me, he even is a potential captaincy option, especially with that home game against Brighton and against the Man United side at Old Trafford that is looking very bad and potentially a lot of injuries in defence. So for me, Isak is a potential captaincy option too. If you didn't want to go for the main man, who is Haaland, who I've actually gone for. To be honest, I think last week Haaland was an obvious captaincy option, and I think he's an obvious captaincy option this week. I just feel like if you wanted to go somewhere different, I don't actually hate it this week. I think last week Wolves at home, I think Haaland at home is a incredible option, and he's just scored 4 goals, which is easy to say that. Away from home, I think it's okay to back against him. I wouldn't personally, considering it's against Fulham, who have been okay defensively this season, but they can concede goals. And Spurs, who are shipping goals for fun. Haaland against that high line is going to be, a mess. And then they've also got obviously West Ham at home last season. But just for the double game week, I don't know if it's worth the risk to go for someone different. Like let's look at the options. So Isak is an option, yeah. But if Wilson is fit, could Wilson start a game and Isak be benched for one of the games in the double? I don't think so, but that could potentially happen. Palmer, I think he'll play both games, but we've seen him maybe be, I won't say quieter, but he's only got a goal and assist in the last 4 game weeks. He's missed one of them though, and for him that is quiet, I feel like. But yeah, for me, he's on pens as well. He can do the damage. 2 good fixtures, but it's away from home. Like I said, do you really trust Chelsea to go there and perform when we know how inconsistent they've been this season? Yes, they've started to pick up a bit of form, 1-2 games in a row, but they were both at home. So for me, I think Isak, if you are going to go different, but for me, I don't think it's worth it. I think Haaland, he's just scored 4 goals. He's going to be full of confidence. De Bruyne is back in the team, who we know does the business for Haaland and makes Haaland a better player. For me, I just wouldn't overcomplicate it, but I don't hate it if you do want to go for Isak. Now, that's the team selection. Let's get on to my potential transfers. Obviously, I've identified Maguire and Fernandes, so I'm going to be talking about them a lot, about who I'm going to take out. The rest of the team, I'm not touching, but it's going to be mainly Maguire and Fernandes replacements. So now we'll get on to the transfers. So I've mentioned a lot about Maguire and Fernandes, so I won't go into it too much, but basically Maguire is coming out no matter what. Bruno Fernandes, I'd say, like I said, if we don't hear that he's been training since Monday, Tuesday, then he is out. So if he hasn't been training since Monday, Tuesday, he's out. If he started training Wednesday, Thursday, then he's out, yeah. But if he has been training since Monday, Tuesday, I might keep him. I don't really want to because I think it's a bit boring and it's a bit risky when I don't need to take that risk, considering I've got 2 free transfers. But yeah, I'll give a couple options of if Bruno is injured, if Bruno is fit. So if Bruno is injured, I'm pretty confident my transfers are going to be Maguire to White and Bruno to Richarlison. So we'll talk about Maguire to White first. So we know Arsenal's defence is ridiculous. Ben White as well is very, very attacking. 4 goals, 5 assists this season. And yes, Man United away on paper doesn't look great, but everything I've just said about Maguire and Fernandes is why I think Arsenal are good for a clean sheet in this game. And they've also got Everton at home in 38, which is a very good game to play for an Arsenal defence, and it's at home. And Ben White, like I said, is very attacking. It's not ideal doubling up on a single game week defence from one team and already having a Everton defender, so it's 3 single game week defenders. That's not ideal, but I just can't see any other defender I want to go for. For example, because I've gone for Richarlison, I can't go for a Spurs defender. I don't think I want to. Can't go for Newcastle, I'm already tripled up. Can't go for City, already tripled up. Can't go for Chelsea, already tripled up. there's just, for me, there's no other players left. You could argue that maybe I could go for a Brighton defender, but after what I've just said about Brighton, I don't think I can, and I don't think their fixtures are that good. But all roads kind of lead to Ben White for me. Richarlison, on the other hand, is a little more straightforward, I'd say, this transfer. And it's a transfer I really do want to do. Since he's come back from injury, so he came back off the bench against Arsenal in Gameweek 35, 26 minutes. Started against Chelsea, but came off after 62 minutes. Benched against Liverpool, came off the bench for 29 minutes and got a goal and assist. And I think Spurs look so much better when he's in the team. And I think he's going to start at least that Burnley game and potentially the City game. But if not, he's going to start the Sheffield United game. So I think, just think of it like this. You're getting Burnley at home, plus maybe a subs appearance against Man City. And then you're getting Sheffield United away. And that could be a hat-trick. It could be anything for him. So really, it's the Burnley and Sheffield United games that are in my head. He's obviously as a midfielder and he's going to be playing up front. He's done okay this season, 11 goals, 4 assists in 18 starts. And for me, it's just that Burnley Sheffield United game that is why I want to bring him in. However, if Bruno is fit, then it becomes a bit tricky because I'll only have about 4.6 million. And to be honest, there's no one out there that I want for that price bracket that is, I guess, doubling one or has a good fixture. I can't go for any of the Arsenal options because they're more expensive. I could double up on Everton defence, but I don't really want to because I'm going to have to play them against Arsenal away in Gameweek 38. So I think the only option for me would be Van de Ven. Again, I don't want the Spurs defence, double Spurs defence, to be totally honest with you. But in my head, if they're going to keep a clean sheet, it's going to be against Burnley at home. It's going to be against Sheffield United. And for me, it's not ideal, but I'm a bit locked. I don't know where else to go. There is an argument, like I said, for a Brighton defender, but I just don't fancy it at all. I just don't fancy it at all. I don't really trust De Zerbi to be solid. And then, their last game of the season, it's not for me. It's just not for me, Brighton. But to be honest, I really want to do the move White and Richarlison in. But if Bruno's fit, I just don't know if I can do that. Can I take out Bruno Fernandes with penalties, 2 home games, for Richarlison, 2 home games, not penalties, potentially not starting one of them? I just don't know. But at the minute, I'm leaning towards just doing the White and Richarlison move. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you've liked this video, please smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and good luck for the game week.